You're an exotical when people think you are mixed race automatically. It'll even go as far as people get confused and think you're a race that you're not, because your features are that drastic, and you probably have like extensions in your hair. Like for me, for example, one day, I think I told you guys this already. This guy, he's from, I think, India or something like that. So he has a very heavy accent, so I can tell he's like a foreigner and everything. And I remember him looking at me and just, you know how men look at you when they're like fascinated by how you look, and then he just was giving me these eyes, and he just keeps staring at me, and I'm like, hello, how are you? Because he's new to the job, and I'm like, hello, how are you? Because he kept staring, and he just kept asking me questions, and like I couldn't understand him really because his accent was heavy. But what I did recognize him saying, "Some you from India?" I said, "No, I'm from the East Coast." So, you know, people will automatically think you're either mixed race. Because I remember being in college, there was this cook that was there, and I was getting my food, and he asked me, "You mixed with Indian?" So I'll have situations and experiences like that a lot, especially if I'm wearing my hair a certain way. So you'll know you're an exotical if people don't even either don't question that you're mixed race, assume that you're mixed race. And on the flip side of that, there will be a lot of unambiguous women that will try to humble exoticals who, let's say for example, naturally have type 4 hair but want to explore a type C curl today just because they think it's cute. And they'll get the whole, oh, you trying to cosplay, you think you really mixed race, right? They'll do stuff like that, but whole time they have a lace front with the exact same hair texture. You know what I'm saying? But because I look like I can get away with it more than them, I think that's all it really is. You know what I mean? Because it's like y'all unambiguous women who say that be the ones always wearing those hair textures also. It's like the pot calling the kettle black, you know? But you also know you're an exotical when people are over analyzing your face, your features. It was like last month I was at a cookout, and there was this unambiguous woman just staring at my face, and I remember her doing that. And then later on in the evening, me and her eventually got acquainted, and we were talking and everything with a group of people. And towards the end, when everybody was leaving everything, it was just me and her at the end, and she was telling me that if she ever catches she was telling me that if you ever saw me looking at you today a lot, it was only because I was just trying to figure out, like, what are you mixed with, what's your background? And she was just breaking it down like that. People are always overanalyzing. And I also remember about this one guy, he had a big crush on me, and that's a whole nother story, but it caused that situation. I told y'all about it hundreds of times. The girls were mad because he liked me, but I remember this guy, he would constantly, every time I see him, ask me, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? And my answer is like it wasn't good enough for him. Like I told him the state I was from, like a regular ass state. And I guess he wanted me to say I was from like somewhere in Asia or something exotic. It's one of those exotic countries. Africa, like, I don't know, I'm from America. You know what I mean? Like, he just was unsatisfied with that answer. I remember things like this. So it's just like, you will go through things where people are just trying to figure out, what are you? Why do you look like that? But you're black. I can tell you're black, but you're mixed with something else. And I gotta figure it out. You know you're an exotical when people don't question if your hair is real, if you're wearing a weave. A lot of us exoticals can get away with different hair textures. You know if you can get away with it or not based off of your features and phenotype. I think a lot of us do play around with, like, people like, what's her name? Like Doja Cat. She's mixed racial, but her natural hair texture is a type 4 hair. But because of she's mixed race, she can pull off type 3 hair because that's her phenotype looks like that, right? And it's the same and vice versa. You know, with somebody who has the phenotype of like a Halle Bailey. In my opinion, she has similar features like Tyla, for example. Even somebody like Chili, her hair texture, what is she, like a type 2? But her phenotype, like she can get away with a type 4 hair texture and get away with it. So we can get away with different hair textures as exoticals. You know you're an exotical when you can get away with beauty enhancements like, you know, color contacts. And like I said, different hair textures. Like for me, I like to wear honey colored contacts. And people, you know, a lot of the times they assume it's my real eyes. And then somebody be bold enough to ask me, are those your real eyes? Like, and then I'll be like, no, they're not. And they'll be like, I could have sworn they was real. Like they be tripping. So, you know, we can get away with more colored. I try to make sure I at least match my phenotype. Like I know what I can get away with enhancements. Like I would never put a blonde wig on. That's just me personally, because I know I can't naturally have that. But like a brown, like I know my phenotype can naturally have a lighter hue of brown if I wanted that color. But I would never cross and go get blue. But that's just me. I try to be as natural with enhancements as possible, even down to my nails. I only wear French tips with my acrylics. I mean, you know, I don't like to get all crazy with it. I like to keep it nice and simple. Less is more to me. I feel like less is more is just more elegant looking to me. So I don't know. And me personally, I just would never do the green. I mean, I think people with my phenotype have green eyes. But, you know, I really go based off of my phenotype, what I'm going to get away with. And I can get away with hazel, honey colored contacts, maybe even gray. But I wouldn't do like a blue. You know what I mean? Because that's obviously not. And it depends on your aesthetic. If you're purposely trying to pull off the, you know, if you want to wear like purple contacts and like red contacts, that's just expression of what you want to do. And, you know, but for me, enhancements for me is to make what I naturally have more enhanced. So like I wear my same hair texture with my hair clip-ins. I blend it with my real hair. Like I wear yaki textured hair, so it blends, so people don't question if it's fake. They assume it's real, but they wonder if it's, you know what I mean? They go through that battle because I pull it off, if that makes sense. Okay? You know you're an exotical when unambiguous black women do not like you off jump. Usually we experience different privileges than a lot of unambiguous women, which often leads to jealousy. A lot of the times we do have privileges as exoticals. We don't experience a lot of the same isms that they go through. Like, we cannot relate to a lot of them because we benefit from some of them. Like, some exoticals benefit from all three, and then some benefit from only two. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on what we don't experience based off of what we benefit from. But because of that, we deal with a lot of unambiguous women who automatically would not like us or will try to befriend us just to sabotage us. I've dealt with that. I have trauma behind that a lot. Them trying to befriend me just to stab me in the back, or to destiny swap, or to gain access to the caliber of men that I can pull. Like, I go through all kinds of stuff with that. They'll make you feel, you're an exotical when they make you feel like an outsider, even though you are also black. You are also black, but they make you feel like you're, like, they'll try to purposely exclude you from the group, for example. So I dealt with that a lot too. It's like, you're black, but because you benefit from privileges that we don't benefit from, you're excluded from the table. You can't sit with us. That type of attitude. You're an exotical when you're being pedestalized also by the black community, when you're the one being pedestalized. Because, and this is a lot for, I have a saying for my light-skinned exoticals, like, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, about being the light-skinned sheep of the family. Because you know the expression, the black sheep of the family, the person who stands out, the outsider. I have a saying called the light-skinned sheep of the family, where the exotical sheep of the family. Because you can be dark-skinned and still be the sheep of the family when it comes to being an exotical, right? If that makes sense. I'm trying to break it down. But you're being pedestalized more than everybody else because you look more mixed race. And because of that, in the black community, there's this hierarchy mindset. And the top of the hierarchy, usually the more mixed you look, the more at the top you are. And you'll get more pedestalized, you'll get treated better by your family members. And that could cause a lot of jealousy within the family. Also, you're more than likely to experience dealing with a jealous family member. This one is more for my monoracial exoticals, and the reason why is because monoracial exoticals are born into a family of usually unambiguous people, and you stand out because the way genes work, it just skips a generation or something, and you just stand out. And like I said, the exotical sheep of the family is what you would be, and you stand out like a sore thumb in the family. And because you stand out, you look like the mixed one. They may give you a hard time. A lot of the females will, because you probably get more attention in the family. You were the sibling that was probably treated better because there's a colorist in the family who treated light-skinned people better, and you weren't treated better. And then the others weren't treated better. You were probably the sibling that got more attention in general, or had a jealous mother. Maybe you have a different hair texture than everybody else in the family, so you have hair texture privilege. That's a whole thing too. But if you have like a jealous mother, her boyfriend might have looked at you the wrong way and she hates you for it, and you have the privileges that she didn't get to have. And so that causes a lot of problems in the family for exoticals. It really does. You are pedestalized at the same time you are ostracized. You know what I'm saying? And it's a really tug of war experience. I think the pedestalization can be a false sense of love for exoticals. I might make that a whole nother video because I can get deep. But you're an exotical when Other races gravitate towards you more comfortably due to either relatability in features, skin tone, etc. A lot of other races are a lot comfortable with exotical black people. They call us the safe black people. They'll even talk to us about unambiguous black people. So they do know the difference is in us. We gave it, well, Exoticals United gave it a term. Before that, before Exoticals United came on the scene, we didn't have a term for it, but we did know that there were differentiations in, certain black people. Like we knew it, we just didn't have a term for it. So I love that we now have a term we can put on it, because there's monoracial exoticals too. There's monoracial exoticals, there's monoracial black women, black men who look mixed race, because of how genes work. And if y'all look at a lot of mixed race people are not a monolith. There's mixed race phenotypes that look just like mine. What's her name? Y'all know that show, Hit the Floor? I don't know her name, but the two girls on the show, I think both of them are mixed race. I have to double check on the second girl, but I know for a fact one of them is mixed race, and we have the same phenotype. I have the same phenotype as a lot of mixed race people, sweetie. And so when I look at these things, Tia and Tamara, there's not one look to being a mixed race. There's dark-skinned mixed race people. Like, what's her name? Ryan Destiny is a mixed race. But she looks like a lot of my friends who are monoracial, you know what I'm saying? So it's just nice that we have a term for our category of, our version of blackness, because we have a completely different experience as well. So it's good to put a name on it. I think unambiguous people actually, if I'm correct, they're the ones that actually gave us the name Exoticals. I think they're the ones who did that. It wasn't Exoticals United say she got it from Chrissy, because Chrissy called us Exoticals, women who I guess look mixed race, who benefit from isms. Because I remember at the time they wanted us to acknowledge our privileges. They really wanted us to acknowledge our privileges. And so Exoticals United was the first person who was bold enough to actually talk about our side of the spectrum, our experiences, because it's a completely different experience than a lot of unambiguous people. We can sympathize, but we can't relate. We don't know what it's like to have somebody say you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or like, I don't know what that experience is like. I don't know what it's like to have somebody not like you because of the color of your skin. I don't know what those experiences feel like. At one point in time, it was almost taboo to even talk about it. But I'm glad we're doing it now. It's nuanced, and it's helping a lot of us mentally. And because we have a lot of trauma behind our side of the spectrum too. Because y'all can't relate, so it doesn't make it any less, an experience. And so it's therapy. There's therapy in this for us Exoticals. People can say all they want to say about our space and how it's problematic, and it's very much helpful for a lot of people who can relate. If you can't relate, I don't even know why you're here, first of all, because you're going to get triggered. And when you're triggered, you respond with that trigger trauma. You don't respond to really sympathize how we did with you guys at one point. If you can't do that with us, they call a lot of light-skinned, Exoticals, light-skinned saviors or whatever, when we sympathize and defend and stand up for unambiguous people, but we don't get the same in return, I noticed. We're constantly being, mistreated, even though we're trying to help all the time. But Exoticals, we don't mean no malice. It's not our fault that we benefit from privileges that this society created. It's not our fault, but we are acknowledging it. So I don't see how that's bad if that's what the masses wanted us to do in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And we're just simply expressing and talking about the things that we've been through. And that's it. We have freedom of speech just like everybody else. I think it really comes down to us benefiting from certain privileges that certain Black people don't, even though we're also Black. And I think there's just jealousy in that. But as Exoticals, we blend in for the most part. We're like chameleons, a lot of us. Unless you were raised monocultural, of course, but a lot of us did grow up in multiple backgrounds. We do have multiple backgrounds in us. So we're more cultured. So we can relate to other races. Other races can relate to us. They gravitate towards us a lot. So, yeah, this is part 1 of You're an Exotical When. I'm going to do a part 2 very soon. And let me know what y'all think about this video. Let me know if I missed anything for part 2. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Thank you for listening.